Next, All Quiet on the Western Front.
So this is technically a remake of the 1930 film by Lewis Marston, of which Variety wrote of the original. The League of Nations could make no better investment than to buy out the master print, reproduce it in every language to be shown to all nations until the word war is taken out of the dictionaries. It was also, incidentally, the first Best Picture winner that was adapted from a novel, that novel being the 1929 book by German novelist Erich Maria Marcuse, which sold 2.5 million copies, was translated into 22 languages in its first 2 years of publication. The story of young German soldiers in the trenches on the Western Front was refilmed in 1979. It was a TV movie adaptation that kind of largely forgotten about. So this new production is a Netflix-backed German-based film directed by German filmmaker Edward Berger from a script, and I hope I'm saying that right, in German, B-E-R-G-E-R. Would you say Berger or Berger? Berger. From a script by Ian Stokell and Leslie Patterson. The director says, quote, "It is a physical, visceral and very modern film that has never been told from my country's perspective. It's never been made into a German language film. We now have the chance to make an anti-war film that will truly touch our audience." And the film that they've made is Germany's entry for the Best International Feature Oscar. It's in cinemas now. It's on Netflix from the 28th. Although I would say there is a very good reason to go and see it in cinemas because it is visually very, very impressive and overwhelming and utterly grueling. The story, as always, is, we see a group of young men filled with the desire to, fight heroically for their country. They have dreams of how it's going to be. They have no idea that the uniforms that they're given are uniforms that have recently been patched up from the bullet holes because they're from people who have already died in the war. Actually, the film begins with this quite horrific depiction of exactly that. They arrive at the Western Front, which is, as anybody who knows their history, as pretty much as close to hell on earth as you can get. Mud, blood, rain, pestilence. Millions died in a conflict in which almost, nothing was achieved. As everyone always says, that, this relates to Blackadder, and everybody knows this as the kind of depiction of...
The Blackadder view of history has been challenged, actually.
No, I understand, but it's... I don't think anybody would say that wasn't anything other than utter hell. Like 1917, to which it bears some similarities, it uses the techniques of modern cinema to put us right there in the middle of what's going on, to see the conflict through the eyes of a fresh-faced youngster who is surrounded by this absolute, astonishing set of horrors and catastrophes. Meanwhile, from the safety of their dinner tables and railway carts, leaders make decisions that have life and death implications for the cannon fodder troops, even as the hour of the armistice draws near. Here is a clip. If you're a regular listener, you'll know that we made a decision that we would play clips from movies, even if the language wasn't English. So here is a clip from the new German version of All Quiet on the Western Front.
Vielleicht sollten wir zurück nach Spa, um uns mit dem Generalstab zu beraten.
Und was versprechen Sie sich davon?
Selbst wenn wir doch noch endgültig verlieren, stehen wir auch nicht schlechter da als bei dieser Unterwerfung.
Bis auf ein paar hunderttausend Tote mehr.
Das Lothringen, Besetzung des Rheins, Kanonen, Lokomotiven, Waggons. Das ist die totale Kapitulation.
250.000 Amerikaner landen jeden Monat in Europa. Marne, Cantigny, Cambrai, alles verloren. Was uns jetzt noch von einem Waffenstillstand trennt, ist nur noch falscher Stolz. Wir werden nun die Suppe auslöffeln, die Sie und Ihre Feldherren uns eingebrockt haben. Aber wenn Sie lieber abreisen würden, bitteschön.
So if you're listening rather than watching, one of the voices you heard there was that of Daniel Brühl, who, and that's one of the negotiation scenes about, people are dying every minute, and yet somehow they're not managing to come to a conclusion about the peace. I think the reason that the film worked is that actually it's the stuff in the trenches. It's the kind of the ground level view of war is really, really well realised. There are a couple of moments of utter horror. There's a sequence involving tanks, which is just, quite breathtaking, and I think does need to be seen on a big screen. There's a fantastic score by Volker Bettelmann, which I think is really affecting and really kind of gets its dirt under its fingernails in terms of the grit of the drama. Some of the scenes are, genuinely jaw-dropping. I should say, it is harrowing. I mean, it of course it is, and it should be. But I thought it was very well made, and I think You know, it is a story that has been retold over the years because it is probably the definitive story of, you know, war is hell. And I thought this is a very visceral adaptation. I think it is worth seeing in the cinema because I think visually it deserves the big screen. That was a great video, wasn't it?
I couldn't take my eyes off it.
No, neither could they.
Do they know, do you think, that they can keep up to date with all things Kermode and Mayo's take by following us on our socials? Because they're all here below.
Well, they definitely know it now.
That's true.